Traditionally in Japan, steelmaking skills were handed down through the generations. Now, an Australian startup is helping to keep those traditions alive by importing steel blades for a range of industries.
It's a busy day at this Sydney florist making bouquets for online orders. The work is made safer thanks to strong, sharp cutters made in Japan using traditional skills.
They're the most amazing, incredible scissors I think I've ever used. They're so strong, so they cut through big stems like the king protea here.
The gardening tools are imported from Japan by Yuko Nako through her metalware business.
I just ordered a whole set for my staff.
Oh, fantastic. Thank you.
Well, we love supporting women in business.
Yuko is married to an Australian landscape designer, and while they started this venture in Sydney together 5 years ago, Yuko is taking it forward in new ways.
This was my husband's side business. It wasn't going as fast as I wanted. When I started speaking to the artisans, the makers, I realised that they were in trouble. They needed more help from us.
The blades are forged in remote Japanese towns using skills handed down the generations from master craftsmen who once produced strong samurai swords. Some make blades for cutters and others specialise in chef's knives.
My knives come from a town called Seki, and they've been making blades for 780 years. Some of these businesses are family owned. They've been doing, 8 generations, and sales they didn't have much to do with. So they didn't know how to get out of their country to expand markets. So I wanted to help.
The blades are produced using a closely guarded mix of elements to make steel that is strong and corrosion resistant.
There are 100 processes to make really good knife. Every step you need a human supervision. So that's a lot of work, very labour intensive.
It was while renovating a 160-year-old farmhouse in Japan that Yuko and her husband realised that some traditional skills could soon be lost.
We would invite all the craftsmen to fix, certain parts of the house, whether it's a plasterer or the traditional builders. And then I noticed that they were all old. They had problems with getting young apprentices because no one really wanted to go into these things.
So Yuko decided to support Japanese metalworkers importing handmade tools to Australia.
I thought, we have to start selling them. We owe it to those makers. I knew the goods are good. If everyone knew about the products, they would just sell themselves. Then arborists, then the florists came, and it was word of mouth. Everyone wanted them.
Yuko now has 15 stockists and has boosted digital marketing thanks to Global Sisters, set up to help women grow their ventures.
I just was so intrigued with the idea that they help female businesses, and they just totally understand our barriers and difficulties, and I just couldn't believe it. I just couldn't believe there's something like this exists in this world. So I signed up straight away.
Yuko is one of our highest sellers on Global Sisters Marketplace. I think that customers in Australia have really connected with not just beautiful and this incredibly gorgeous aesthetic product, but there's a real story behind it.
Since 2016, Global Sisters has supported more than 5,300 women and their micro businesses, with many more women from diverse and disadvantaged backgrounds starting new ventures during the pandemic.
COVID has had a huge impact on women in Australia. So many women lost their casual, unstable jobs and then were loaded up with all of the childcare during COVID.
Chef Shane D'Elia was paired with Yuko last year during Global Sisters' annual pitch event, which connects women with leading Australian CEOs and founders.
He offered her some incredible support to move her business forward. So connecting her with other celebrity chefs and other restaurants around Australia to stock her incredible knives.
Yuko has another important reason to grow her small venture. She wants to be a role model for others in Japan, where many women, including a close friend, are struggling with traditional expectations and work stress.
And that really had a huge impact on me. I wanted to save her. So everything I do from Global Sisters, I put everything in Japanese and tell them, there are other ways, we've got to help each other.
Later in the program,